Hi, everybody. This is Virginia Milner with Jewelry with Jen, with another episode of Jewelry with Jen for the DeKalb County Library System. We are doing what we call our kids version, and we're going to, winter is here, New Year's has passed, and it's probably cold by now. I'm doing this in December. It's a little chilly, but it's probably cold by now, and we need something colorful in our lives. So I thought we would make this really, really pretty cuff. It's braided and very, very colorful. We're going to use wooden dyed painted wooden beads, and we're going to use memory wire. We're going to string the beads on the memory wire, and then we're going to braid them into this really neat cuff. So what we're going to do will look like this when we're finished. Isn't that neat? I love this. This is one of my most colorful pieces, and it just goes pretty much with everything. So that's what we're doing today. Again, all we need is memory wire and beads. Whatever colorful beads you would like. If you want to do it all in one color, that's entirely up to you too. But the kits that you will get will have the memory wire in it. You'll have 6 pieces of memory wire. Now, if you do this on your own, when you cut this, you want to make sure it's big enough to go around your wrist and give yourself a little bit extra. As you can see, this overlaps a little bit, because when you put the beads on, it's going to open up a little bit. And then you also need to make these little loops on the side, so that on the ends, so that the beads don't fall off. So that's going to make it even, give you even less. And then when you put it on your wrist, see how it's almost close together off of your wrist? When you put it on your wrist, it becomes a cuff, and it wraps around nice and snug like that. And it's not supposed to overlap or even meet in the back. It's just supposed to be a 3/4 cuff. So that's what we're going to get. That's what we're going to do. And let's get this started. All right, so here's what we need. We need our beads. We need our memory wire. It's again cut to the circumference of your arm with some extra on the end to accommodate the loops that we need to put in, and the possibility that it will open up a little bit on your wrist. Again, it's not supposed to overlap. It's just supposed to stop around 3/4 of the way around your wrist. You'll have about 1/2 inch to 1 inch opening back there, which is fine and the way it should be. Now, the tools that you're going to need are your round nose pliers and a strong pair of cutters. If you don't have memory wire cutters, which a lot of people don't, you just need a very strong pair of cutters that you can use to cut your memory wire if you need to. So this is very simple. The first thing that we need to do is make a loop on one end of the memory wire. So we're going to take our pliers, our round nose pliers. We're going to place the wire about 1/3 of the way down my pliers, because we want a nice little loop on there. So I'm going to go about 1/3 of the way down my pliers. So get this to focus the way I want. And then I'm going to grab the wire with the pliers, and I just want the very tip inside my pliers. I don't want anything sticking out the back there. So I'm going to grab that, and notice that the circle is going under the pliers. You don't want it off to the side. You want the pliers on top and the circle of wire underneath. So I'm going to move one end out of the way. I'm going to put the other end in my pliers. I'm going to give myself a good firm grip, and I'm going to make a loop. So I'm going to turn the pliers, open them up, rotate back, clamp down again, turn, open, rotate back, clamp down again, and turn until I have a full circle, a complete loop with my wire. I want to make sure that's completely closed. So I'm going to go back in and just give it another little turn so that the wire, the end of the wire, is backed right up against the long edge of wire, like that. See if I can get this to focus. Sometimes it doesn't like to. There we go. So now when I put my beads on, they won't fall off. Then the next thing I'm going to do is grab some beads. Now what I have here is a nice little mix of beads. I have some 6mm, 7mm, and some 4mm. And then that way it just gives it a nice colorful edge, but a nice little balance of sizes as well. You don't need to put these in any particular order if you don't want to. It's up to you how you want them to look. I just string the beads on and let them fall where they may, and I get a beautiful rainbow of colors. So we're just going to feed the beads on the end of the wire. Just slide it over. And these are wooden painted beads. So remember, some of the paint sometimes goes inside of the little hole. So you might have to wiggle it around a little bit to get it to go through in case there's some paint in there. Okay, I'm just going to keep going. I have a nice, see, isn't that neat? Nice little rainbow. And then I'm going to put a couple of these little ones on. I kind of like to mix them in. A couple of little ones. And another big one. Let's use this fuchsia. I haven't put a fuchsia one on there yet. A couple more little ones. And I think I'm going to give you 3 different sizes. It's either going to be 2 or 3 different sizes in your kits so that it really looks neat when you finish. Kind of gives it a little more depth if you have a variety of not only colors, but sizes. That's what I like. You're going to need a lot of beads, and you will be getting a lot of beads to string on. Let's see, I have a green one there. Let's go to, what other colors do I have in here? Let's put an orange one on. Yeah. And, oh, I like this nice teal color. Okay, and just keep on going till I have it full. And now you're going to have 6 of these. You're going to have 6 wires that you're going to thread your beads on. And then we're going to twist them all together. Oh, look, I haven't used one of these yet. We're going to twist it all together to finish off your piece. Okay, let's get some green in there. Okay, a nice neutral black one. And let's go with the red and green in memory of Christmas. Okay, what else have we got in here that looks promising? Orange, yellow. See how pretty and bright this is? Oh, I love it. Another fuchsia on there. Let's get another nice orange one. And I'm going to put this off-white ivory colored one. Get, let's go with this nice dark brown one. And another light pink. See how the different sizes make it look so interesting. Okay, let's put this teal color on. See how the paint is kind of filling up the center here? So I have to wiggle my wire around until it goes through. Very easy. It's not hard to do. It's just what happens when they paint these beads. Okay, let's keep going. What else we got here? Let's go with the red one. I haven't done a red in a while. Okay, another little teeny tiny yellow. Let's do a little teeny tiny green. And orange. Is that purple? It's either purple or black. The purple is so dark that it's hard for me to tell. Your eyes might be better than mine. Okay, so I'm going to keep going until I get about, half an inch from the end. Now see why I said to overlap? Because when I made my loop, I got a little less overlap. And what I'm going to do, I have a few that are already made. So I'm going to bring that out and take a look. See how that's overlapped and this one is not? So I want to cut it off so that the edges meet. So I don't need all of these. I want about an inch or half an inch over the other side of my loop. So I'm going to take off. Oh, I hate to take all of these off, but I must. I don't need them. Let me put another one on until the beads meet up with the loop on the end. I think that'll be good. So now what I want to do is cut this off. See how my beads are meeting on the ends? I'm going to give it one more just to be safe. I think I will match that up with another orange one. Why not? So there we go. Right there on the end, there's the other side, and there's this side, and they're kind of matching. You don't want to go too far over because I want it to be the same size as this one. And those meet. Okay, so now what I want to do is cut it off about a half an inch from the end. So I did not mention a ruler, but it would be a good idea to have a little ruler, unless you can just kind of eyeball it and know what half an inch looks like. So grab your ruler, put these little beads out of the way here. Always good to clean up my space. And measure a half an inch from the end. Okay, so there's 1/2 inch right there. Here we go. And then I'm going to take my cutters and I'm going to cut it off. Now, when you cut, you want to make sure that you hold on to this end because it will go flying across the room. And if there's anybody over there, you could hit them with a flying piece of wire, which is sort of like stabbing them with a needle, and you don't want to do that. You also don't want to turn it towards your face and have that happen. The best way to cut is to make sure you're holding on to this end, this tail. So I want to hold on to the side with the beads so that the beads don't fall off. And I want to hold on to the side with the end. So notice how I'm holding the beads with my thumb and my middle finger, and then I'm holding the end with my other two fingers. So I've got the wire trapped between all my fingers so that when I cut, there we go, there's my end. My beads are still in place and everything is right with the world. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take my round nose pliers and I'm going to make another loop like I did on the other side, on the first side. So I'm going to take my pliers and I'm going to slide my wire down about 1/3 of the way down like I did the first time. And again, the beads in the loop are underneath my pliers. Pliers on top, loop underneath. Make sure nothing's sticking out, no wire sticking out the back here. And I'm just going to get a good grip and I'm going to start rotating my pliers to make a loop. Open it up, clamp back down, rotate, open, clamp down, and rotate, open, clamp. Now notice I turn back, clamp down, and rotate, open, rotate back, clamp down, and keep doing that until I have a full loop on the other side, just like my first side. See that? Nice, neat, and tidy. So now it's time for me to put my cuff together. Now I have all of these others already made. So we're just going to take them and we're going to put them all together. We're going to match up the edges so that all the loops are one on top of each other. Just like this. And take another one, put that on top, and just put them all on top of each other. Now, the next thing that we're going to do, as a matter of fact, I should have done this before I stacked them, is take my other piece of wire and I'm going to make a piece that strings all the way through my end loops. So I've got all of these little loops on the end, and I'm going to take a piece of wire and I'm going to thread it through all of them to hold them together. Let me bring that back up. Okay. So I'm going to take my little piece of wire and I'm going to thread it through one and then thread that through a second one and then a third one until they're all together. So first I have to cut my wire. So I'm going to cut myself about, if I put my pieces together, it'll give me an idea of how much wire I need for my ends. So I'm just going to put them all together. And just measure all of them. Again, good to have my, oh, I need 3 hands. Good to have my ruler. Okay, so I'm just going to measure all of them, and it's about an inch, just about an inch. So I'm going to give myself 2 inches of wire because I want to make a loop like this on both ends. Okay, so I'm going to give myself about 2 inches of wire, just measure that out, cut it off. Same for the other end. And I'll just measure it from the other piece. Or you can use your ruler, whichever you're more comfortable with. Okay, cut that off. Again, I'm holding on to the wire so it doesn't fly around the rim. Okay. So now that I have my two end pieces of wire, I'm going to take my pliers again and make a loop. You're going to be so good at making loops by the time we finish. Okay, slide down about a third of the way down my pliers again. Make sure that the end is not sticking out the back. And let's start my rotations for my loop. Clamp down and rotate, open, rotate back, clamp down, rotate. And now notice I put my thumb on here because that way I can help it along. I can clamp down, and instead of just using my wrist, I can use my thumb and I can push it. And it makes it a little bit easier. Clamp down again and push it down with my thumb and turn at the same time until I have a loop. Yay, look at that. Make sure it's completely closed. Good. Now I'm going to take my 6 rings of wire and I'm going to take the end of the wire that's not looped. I'm going to slide it through one of my rings. Now I'm going to look at this because I see a little tiny opening there and I do not want my wire to come off, so my beads to come off, so I'm going to close that up. So I'm going to take my wire and I'm going to thread it through one of my loops and then grab another one, thread that through one of my loops and make sure that they're both going the same direction. Let's get a third one and thread that through. And they're just going to fall down to the end here. And get another one and thread that one through. And just keep going until I have all 6 loops on there. Now see, I have lots of wire left over. But I like to make sure I have plenty. You know why? Because you can do that, or you can do something even nicer. I'm going to take that off. I'm going to grab a bead and I'm going to put that on the end. And then I'm going to thread one of my loops through, put another bead on, different color. Let's see, orange. Thread that on. And thread that through one of my loops. Put another bead on. Get on there. And let's do what color? Let's go pink. Thread that one on. And let's put a turquoise one on this time. And so it's bead, link, bead, link, bead, link. Thread that one on and another bead. Let's do this one. I like to make them all different colors, or you can make it all one color. It's entirely up to you. Okay, let's do that one. Oops. One more. Slide that on. And there we go. And that's why we needed 2 inches, because now we filled it all nicely in so that you don't have to just look at these rings. You have a nice colorful pattern to hold your beads together. So now it really, really looks pretty. So now what we want to do is take that end and make another loop. Told you, you're going to be doing lots and lots of loops. And we only need about 1/2 inch. What I like to do is put my finger there to see, or again, you can use your ruler and measure 1/2 inch and then cut off what you don't need. Now, because this is very short, it's kind of hard to hold on to it to keep it from flying. So what do? You take something, a little bowl, a little something with a little opening in it, and you put this down in it. I'm going to take this little something that you can see. What I got here. I've got this little empty tube thing, and it's got a little hole in the middle. So what I'm going to do, got my 1/2 inch, mark it off with my thumb, and I'm going to put the end down inside this little opening, and then I'm going to cut. So guess what? It went right down inside, and you can see that little remnant of wire on the inside of my little dish, with my little hole in my little spool here. Okay, so now I just need to make another loop. You guessed it, another loop. Okay, so again, I'm going to slide my wire down about 1/3 of the way down my pliers. You have a lot of things going on here, so you want to hold on nice and snug. And you can put this down to rest it, and then you don't have to worry about holding it up. Okay, grab my wire, nothing sticking out the back there. Get a good grip. Start my loop. Open it up, rotate back. And keep on twisting until I have a complete circle. Just like I did with all of the others. There we go. And would you look at that? 1/2 of it's done. All nicely bound together. And now we're going to do the other side after we braid it. Now, here's the thing. You could just put your other wire through the other side and wear it like this, and it's perfectly pretty. You don't have to twist it if you don't want to. You could just wear it just like this, and it would be just fine. Oops, I got something caught in here. No, it's good. But I could not twist it if I didn't want to, and just wear it like this. Let's see what it would look like if I just, see, that's very pretty. I wouldn't have to do anything except put my wire through the other side, and I'd have a nice little cuff. Neat, huh? But for our little project today, we're going to braid it. So what I'm going to do is separate this off into 3 pieces. So a little bit. And it gets a little tiny bit challenging here, but I know you can do it. So what I want to do is separate them in 3 pieces and 3 strands, 2 strands per section, 3 sections, 2 strands per section. So I have 2 strands over here to my, this camera does everything backwards. I think this is going to be left, 2 strands to the right, and 2 in the center. Or just to be simple, 2 on one side, 2 on the other side, and 2 in the center. And now I'm just going to take one side and bring it over the center, the 2 in the center, like that. And I'm going to take the other side and bring that over the 2 in the center. Okay, and then again, this side, bring it over the center ones. The other side, bring it over the center. So you notice that once you take one side and bring it over the center, this one becomes the center. And then bring the other side over the center until I have a braid. I'm going to take that apart and I'm going to do it again. Now, if you already know how to braid, then you know how this works. But just in case you don't, let's get some direction. Okay, so I've got my 2 on each end. 2 on one end, 2 on the other end, 2 in the center. I bring the 2 on one end over the center, and then this one becomes my center. Take the 2 from the other end and bring it over that center, and then that becomes the center. And I just keep going as many times as you want to braid, and it just depends on how tight you want it to be. I usually do it about 3 or 4 times. That was 2. This is 3. And let's do one more. Nope, let's stop because I'm starting to get a little tight. So there is, it's going to loose. So there is my piece. Get over there. There's my braid. Now you've got to hold on to all of your edges. This is the challenging part. I've got my braid. I feel like I should do it one more time just so you can really see, but I think I'm going to quit while I'm ahead. So here are all of my ends back here. They're all braided and they're ready for my other loop. Now, what did I not do? If I let go of this, it's going to all come apart. So remember I said I should show you again? I'm going to have to show you again. Why? Because I need to make a loop out of this, and I can't make a loop and hold on to this at the same time. So you get another tutorial on how to braid. Isn't that lovely? Okay, so I'm going to take that all apart, lay it to the side. I'm going to grab my other piece of wire and I'm going to make a loop. So when you grab your little 2 pieces of wire, go ahead and loop both of them. Loop the one end of each one and put one of the wires to the side. So again, third of the way down my wire, clamp down with my pliers, get a good grip, and rotate until I have a loop. Open, rotate back, clamp down, squeeze and rotate, open up, rotate back, clamp, and keep going until I have a full circle. Okay. Now, one thing you want to make sure of is that this little end is not on the side. You want it to back right up to the long edge of wire so that this sharp edge isn't sticking out. And then I can do that and I don't have to worry about anything sticking me. Okay, so now I'm going to put that to the side because I need to braid my cuff again. And again, like I said, you could just leave it like this and go ahead and thread it like we did on the other side and just have a nice little bracelet that way. But I like to make things challenging. So let's give ourselves our 3 sections, 2 strands a section. Take one side, cross it over the center, take the other side, cross it over my new center, take the other side, cross it over that center, and back to the other side, cross it over. That's 2 times. Let's get one more. cross over the center, and the other one cross over the center. And just make sure I keep these side by side. You don't want them to get all bunched up. Isn't that pretty? It looks different every time I do it. So now comes the challenge of threading the other side. I want to make sure I hold these all together. Keep them nicely side to side. And now let's put it together. This is where you feel like you need 3 hands, but we can do it. So what I want to do, get out a little selection. Let's see, red, yellow. That's purple, I'm not sure. And orange, fuchsia, turquoise. How many do I need? I need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Perfect. So what I want to do is take my little wire with the loop on it, and let me show you an easy way to do it so you don't have to have 3 hands. Just take the wire and poke it down into my bead. Just find the little opening, slide it on, and then put it on through one of the loops. And notice how I'm resting it down on the table for as long as I can, because I need to hold on to all of these. Okay, let's get a second one. Let's put that on. If you have somebody who can help you, great. If not, 3 hands. Just pretend like you have them. Thread that through. Oops, get back on there. Oh. Hold that on there. Here we go. And thread that in the next loop. Grab another bead. Let's go with this one. Thread that on. Yeah, that is purple. I can see in the light now. And thread that through my next bead. My next loop. Oh, did that purple one fall off? See, told you it was going to be a bit of a challenge. Okay, thread that on. Okay. Through my next loop. Thread the next one on. See how I'm holding it down on the table so I don't have to worry as much about holding it. Thread that on. Through my next loop. Here we go. And grab another one. Thread that through the end. Through my next loop. Almost finished. And the last one. Thread it on. And through my last little loop. Ta-da! Yay! All right. I don't think I even have to cut anything off of this end. Now I'm going to hold on to this. There's the end. I'm holding all my loops so that it doesn't go anywhere. You probably need to cut a little bit of it off, but you can have a little space in there. That's just fine. So I'm going to go ahead and loop this. Here's the end. I'm going to grab it with my pliers. Now, if I wanted to cut a little off, I could probably cut about 1/8 of an inch off. So again, I'm going to put it down in my little well, grab my pliers, and just snip off that end. And let it drop right down in there. Now this one sticks in the bottom because there's a tag on it. If there wasn't a tag, it would go down in the well and then end up right here, and you can pick it up and throw it away. So again, I'm going to take my pliers and grab my wire. I'm sliding that wire down about a third of the way down my pliers like we did before. Get a good grip, rotate, oops, cooperate with me. Rotate, and you don't have to hold this up. I hold it up so you can see in the camera, but you can put this down on your table so that you're not fighting with it. There's a good view. Okay, so there's the end right there. Slide it down about a third of the way down my pliers. And notice I'm holding on to my beads so they don't slide. Grab that, rotate, open it up, rotate back. Turn, open, rotate back, turn, open, rotate back. I'm going to check and see what I've got. I almost have a nice complete circle. See that? And give it one more little twist. And there's my loop. Very nice. See that? Everything's nicely looped and closed up. And there, ladies and gentlemen, is my cuff. Isn't that great? Ah, awesome. I love it. And if you wanted to get really creative, if you have any extra wire and beads, which you probably will because I'm giving you a whole lot of them, just to make sure you have plenty. Let me turn this a little bit so you can see what I mean. See these little edges? If you have any wire left, you can always dangle a bead from there. Let's see. This already has the loop in it that you know how to do. I could put a bead or two on there. And make another, put that in this loop, make another loop on the end, and just dangle a bead or two from the end if I wanted to. But that's not necessary because you have a wonderful twisty bangle cuff. Ta-da! How easy is that? With a riot of color. I love it. Okay, enough of that. So there it is. There's my super twisty rainbow cuff. I don't know what to call it, but there it is. You made it. All finished. The perfect thing to brighten up any winter day. And that's it. That's our program for today. I hope you enjoyed it. Make sure you get your kit at Toco Hills, and I think we have a little surprise too. I don't want to speak out of turn. So I hope you enjoyed this. If you do, please post what you make on the Facebook page. You can do that, or I think you can also send some pictures in. I'm not sure how they're doing the pictures, but if you can send the pictures into the Toco Hills Library, I think that they'll post them on the page. I know they did that with the last one. It was so neat. So have fun with this. Let us know how you liked it, or if you have any questions at all, please feel free to email me at jewelrygen21@gmail.com. Again, that's jewelrygen20. Oh, not 21. Scratch that. jewelrygen20@gmail.com. And if you want to send your pictures there, you can do that too. And then I can get them to the library. But let us know what you think and what you like, and let me see how your finished project turns out, because I love to see that. Okay, so until next time, you have a good rest of the week. Have fun in school. Have a great weekend, and we will see you next time. Bye-bye.